In today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the best heroes you can play at different ranks in Overwatch in order to climb more easily. Because there's some heroes that are much better for climbing at, say, Bronze than at Grandmasters. What is the best hero changes as you go through all the ranks. So I'm going to talk through some of that with you and teach you the different OP heroes for each competitive rank in Overwatch 2. We're going to start this video with Bronze. So, if you are in Bronze, legitimate Bronze, not just like it placed you there, you were Gold before, you're actually in the Bronze, Silver-ish type of tier, then let's start with Rein. Rein is a very, very strong pick for anyone at a very low SR. The reason Rein is so good at low ranks is because you don't have to actually aim anything with him. You just have to run around and swing at people to get your damage. If you're in trouble, you can put up a shield and back up, and you can do crazy stuff with the pins and the charge, which you don't really need. You also have 2 fire strikes now, but the main thing with Rein at low rank is just being able to swing and then put a shield up when you're gonna die. It's very easy, it's very simple. Anyone at low rank can get value with Rein. The next character on the list, if you are at a lower rank, Bronze, Silver, maybe even Gold, is none other than Wrecking Ball. Now this one's gonna take you a long time to learn how to play correctly, but if you learn how to play Wrecking Ball correctly, he can just farm people at lower ranks. It's actually crazy what you can get away with Wrecking Ball. Mainly because at lower ranks, people don't know how to aim very well, so they can't really deal with you if you know how to get in and how to get out. So if you really want to, I'd recommend looking up a Wrecking Ball guide, learning how to play it, and that he could easily carry you up to Gold or Platinum or Diamond. He's really insanely strong at lower ranks. Again, people just don't know how to deal with someone who has that much mobility. The next character that's really OP at low rank is Roadhog. Now, it takes a little bit more skill to get value out of Roadhog, but if you eventually acquire that skill, Roadhog is known for just stopping people at lower ranks for people who know how to play him. Mainly because if you land a hook on someone who's 200 HP, they generally die immediately. So, it mainly just, he has good damage, he has good sustain, he doesn't really need his team as much, so you don't have to rely on your team. He has solo carry potential, which is really good at lower ranks. So if you want to take time to really master a hero at low ranks, try to climb, Roadhog's not a bad option. The last tank that I would think of for lower ranks would be Orisa. Now, she's going to take a little bit more time to master in Overwatch 2 since they reworked her. She has a bunch of different abilities now, but mainly she's just super tanky, and people in lower ranks aren't really good at focusing down a character. So all you have to do is use your Fortify when you're in trouble, and when you get a bunch of stuff on you, you do this to reflect damage and whatever, and throw spears and be a nuisance and be invincible, basically. And at lower ranks, people really struggle to know how to deal with it because there's a lot less teamwork. At higher ranks, it's a little bit easier to deal with Orisa because people know how to like all focus on her at once, and that's Orisa's weakness. But in low ranks, people have not as good of aim, and they don't have as good of teamwork, and that allows Orisa to just get crazy value. The next character that's really insanely good at low ranks is Reaper. So like Bronze through Gold, and even into Platinum, Reaper is going to be able to get insane value. Now, one of the big reasons for this is that Reaper at close range can do an obscene amount of damage. So if you actually get really close to someone, you can take them out really fast. And another thing is at low ranks, people aren't as good with their AD crouch spam. So when people do this, at low ranks, people tend to just kind of walk straight lines and move like very easily and predictable. And when people do that, it makes it much easier for Reaper to get value. Also, people aren't as aware, so it's much easier to sneak up on people as Reaper and surprise them. And also, last thing about Reaper here at lower ranks, it's very easy to get value with Reaper where he just jumps off and Death Blossoms on everyone's head. So that's like, it's so easy to catch people off guard with that at lower ranks. Higher ranks, it's much harder, but low ranks, you can get 4-man kills all the time with Death Blossom. All right, the next character on the list for lower ranks, again, Bronze through like Platinum, is Symmetra. And the reason she's so insanely strong is one small part of her kit, which is these sentry turrets. Now, at lower ranks, people are much worse at being aware of these. They're much worse at destroying these. They don't even notice they're being hit by them if people are down in Bronze and Silver and stuff. So if you throw these in good places, like when you're coming through this choke, for example, you have 3 turrets set up here. People are going to walk through this choke, and they're just going to get farmed by the turrets and not even hardly realize they're doing it. They're not going to blow them up fast enough. It's one of the reasons why Symmetra has an insanely high win rate at lower ranks, is just the turrets. But other than that, I mean, she has the beam. That does a lot of damage if you actually hit someone. It's good for killing tanks. and then her secondary fire does do a decent amount of damage now, so it's not like that's all she has. And the wall is also really good. At lower ranks, people are not quite as good at playing around it. The next character that's insane at low ranks is Torbjorn, and the main reason for this is because of his turret. And again, just like Symmetra, at lower ranks, people are much worse at dealing with the turret. It just farms damage. And if your aim is not very good, it aims for you. So, you know, it can get guaranteed consistent damage on people who are significantly less aware. So turret is really, really strong, especially if you have it up somewhere in a crazy spot, like you're throwing them in places that people are having trouble reaching, like up here. And then Torb also has survivability with his, I don't even know what the ability's called actually, but this thing, just giving him some bonus HP and giving him a little bit faster fire rate. He's just an all-around good character to get value with at lower ranks. Another character that is stupid at lower ranks is Pharah, and the main reason for this is because of, well, there's two reasons for this. At lower ranks, people's aim is generally not as good, so when a character is way up in the sky like this, people tend to struggle to hit this person. So just being high up in the air and then also having splash damage makes Pharah extremely difficult to deal with at lower ranks. On top of this strength, or I guess the weakness of people at lower ranks, there's also the factor that at lower ranks, people are less likely to swap to things that will counter Pharah. So if Pharah is winning the game, you're much less likely to have the enemy team swap to Cassidy and Ashe or some hit scans that can actually deal with you, because at low ranks, people just are less coordinated, less likely to counter pick, all sorts of things like that. Also, Pharah being able to fly allows her to easily get in positions where she can just control space and do whatever she wants. The last DPS that's really good at low rank, potentially, is Junkrat, mainly because you don't have to aim nearly as much, and he has splash damage, so you can easily just combo people really hard. You can knock people off the map. You can throw down traps, which at low ranks, people never even notice the traps. They step on them, you blow them up. There's just like a set baseline value Junkrat can get much more easily at lower ranks, especially bronze through platinum. And if you get really good at him, and you really like this character and main him at a low rank, you'll be able to get a lot of value. Now, if you are at a low rank, the next one's one that you might be very familiar with. I see a lot of memes about Moira's at low ranks, but Moira's insanely good at low ranks, and the reason for that is there's consistent, guaranteed healing and damage that you can get with her. Now, it doesn't mean you can't not get good at her. You still would need to get decent with her to be able to climb, but if you were going to spend your time learning a hero just to get up to, say, Diamond or something, Moira can easily take you there. So with her orbs, she can get consistent damage, she can get consistent healing, she can, if your team can't seem to kill anyone, Moira can still kill people, but also Moira can actually heal enough that she can kind of compete with any healer. She can keep your team alive, or she can contribute to killing the enemy team. You can kind of solo carry your brains out as Moira if you get really good at her at a low rank, and even at a high rank to a certain degree. The next character that's really good at low ranks is Mercy, and the reason for this is her healing is very easy to do. You just select a teammate, you look at a teammate and you start healing or you start damage boosting, and you just hold the button and then you do whatever you want. Mercy's really good for people who don't have a lot of experience with these types of games, because I can't latch onto him because he's an enemy, but I would latch onto him, and then once I'm latched onto someone and I'm healing them, I can just focus on me and my positioning and what I'm doing and trying not to get killed. Also, Mercy has a ton of mobility. She's hard to kill once you get the hang of her, so she's just all around a pretty stable character that's easy to get reasonable amounts of value at, especially at low ranks. The next support that's really good at lower ranks is Lucio, and the reason for this is because he does AoE healing. So from Lucio's perspective, you can kind of, if you don't really know what you're doing, you can still get a baseline value by just existing near your team and just healing them or changing the speed boost and helping them move. Even if you barely know what you're doing, the game's almost playing for you for a certain baseline amount of stats and value just by existing. But on top of that, Lucio also has a lot of value, so once you actually get better at him, he has the sound barrier, which is extremely overpowered. He can knock people off the map, and obviously he can wall ride, which is the high-end skill cap for Lucio. So someday, if you get really good with wall riding and actually assassinating people as Lucio, then you can go ahead and take him all the way to, you know, GM top 500, because he's actually one of the better characters right now in Overwatch 2. The last support I want to talk about is Brigitte, and she kind of can carry you at lower ranks, but the problem with Brigitte at lower ranks is you really actually need to learn how to play good with her now, because her shield's not very durable nowadays, and she can easily get killed because you want to end up in melee range often, and if you don't know what you're doing, you'll just get yourself killed. So a lot of people would think that Brigitte is going to be really good at low ranks, but it's one of those situations where you need to actually get good at her to not just feed on accident all the time. If you do, though, you could definitely carry with her. I could take Brig into low ranks as someone who's taken her to top 500, and I could just farm the hell out of people. She can definitely farm people at low ranks like crazy, but at the cost of you really got to know what you're doing, because you have to get into vulnerable positions with her in order to get value with her. All right, so let's move this discussion up a little bit. So you've moved up in the world, you've mastered some of these heroes, and now you are in platinum or something like that. You're pushing through to diamond, and now you're at that part in your Overwatch 2 career where you're thinking, okay, I'm hard stuck in platinum. How do I hit diamond? Or how do I get into masters? How do I break through? What heroes would be good for this? What heroes are good once we start hitting that higher skill level with aiming and positioning and awareness and stuff like that? So let's go ahead and think about mid-tier ranked experience in Overwatch and what heroes are the best for that, or the strongest in those ranks of the game. Once you start hitting around diamond, Diva suddenly becomes an option. The reason she's bad at low ranks is she just takes too much skill to be able to get value. She's very precise in order to get skill with her. But if you get there with her and you actually step up your game and get to that skill level, Diva's a very strong person to play as. Let me see if I can show you some crazy stuff. Like, you know, being able to control your movement and be hard to hit and actually know what you're doing and be consistent with her, knowing how to defense matrix your team correctly and not waste it and be wasteful, how to eat grabs, how to just do everything with her, how to get good damage, aim good enough to actually, you know, get people killed, or just in general know your positioning to where you know how to get in on someone and then when to just back out. You got to be able to play better with her, but if you get there with her, she's really, really good and can take you up, you know, higher in ranks, if you just get really good with her. Once you hit diamond or so, Orisa is still viable. She nowadays has enough skill cap and stuff that if you get good enough with all of her abilities, you can definitely move up the ladder with her. It's just that once you hit this diamond tier, it's really, you start getting to that level where you've got to really master heroes now to get further up. So there's a lot more on your shoulders to take it further, but Orisa's a viable option at this rank. She does a crazy amount of damage still. If you get really good with her and your positioning and awareness and stuff, she can definitely just pop off like crazy. All right, so now that we're diamond, Sigma becomes an option. So Sigma is bad in low ranks because he just takes too much skill to get value. But right now in Season 1, Sigma's actually pretty good. So he has his shield that he can project and then shoot from behind it and weave through it. He can absorb damage. He can eat grabs and things too. He has the rock, which then he can follow up with some damage, which can one-tap people if he hits all of it. And just does a ton of damage, but you have to be able to aim. You have to be able to aim. His ult's good, but you have to be able to know when to use it right and be able to actually catch people in it effectively. But if you're able to step up your game and have that level of skill as Sigma, once you start hitting diamond, he can definitely carry your games. You just got to, you know, any of these characters, you got to master them once you get to diamond. But if you do, he can definitely get value in these ranks. And at this rank is when Zarya starts to become very valuable. Now, you can definitely play Zarya at low ranks and still to be good, but Zarya takes a certain level of finesse to actually get good value with her. You need to know when to bubble in order to get energy with her. You need to be aware enough to be able to be in the middle of a fight and just turn and bubble a teammate and go back to fighting. You got to have good aim. You got to know the right clicks and how to go about using them, when to use them, or even just the little tricks like right when you're running out of energy, you shoot one just to get that extra little bit of bonus energy out of your clip. And just knowing how to get a good grab, not get it eaten, be able to get value with her. So, like, if you're going to get good at the character, once you get to diamond, if you're able to master Zarya, she can definitely help you climb. She's definitely a good character. And really quick, Hammond is also amazing at diamond. We already talked about him, but it's just that once you get to diamond, you just got to keep stepping up your game with Hammond. You got to get more creative. You got to get faster. You got to get better. You got better aim. But you can do it, and Hammond is actually insanely good in diamond and can still solo carry hard even at that rank. And a quick mention to Roadhog. Again, if you step up your game and you're able to take it to a diamond level, Roadhog is someone who has potential at these ranks. He tends to fall off once you like Grandmasters and stuff, But in the diamond range, if you get really good with him, he could definitely still farm people. If you took a Grandmasters player who knows how to play Roadhog, throw him in diamond games, he's going to hard carry his brains out. He has that potential. He has the solo carry potential. All right, so let's look at some DPS now for the platinum through low masters range of how could you climb. Ashe is one who suddenly becomes good, because let's say you're in diamond, now we expect that you have the ability to actually hit shots fairly consistently. And if you can hit shots fairly consistently, then not only can Ashe do a crazy amount of damage, she also can get Bob, and Bob can single-handedly win a fight if you put him in the right spot, which I would hope at diamond level and above, you get good enough with Ashe that you know just when to throw Bob out, you know just where to have him finish off and stand, and when to do it, just get just right value out of her. And if you do it all right, she can hard carry at, you know, platinum through masters. So yeah, she's definitely a really good character for solo carry in those skill ranges. Next up is Genji. So now that you're in platinum through masters, I would expect that you're good enough to be able to play this character now. Now in bronze, I don't recommend him just because he is just too hard to use correctly. But once you get good enough at Overwatch and you can use him correctly, Genji can just be so insane. If he kills someone with a dash, or if he just kills someone, his dash comes off cooldown, so he can dash to kill someone and then immediately dash somewhere else. Or he can dash in point blank and right-click someone in the head. He can deflect things back out. He can deflect grabs. He can deflect all sorts of stuff. And most importantly of all, he has Dragon Blade, which is one of like the top 3 most powerful ultimates in the entire game. And when you hit this level of platinum through masters, you can start to expect, if you have an Ana, they'll nano you when you use Dragon Blade, and then you have Nano Blade, and then you can hard carry fights with it. So Genji starts to be crazy with insane solo carry potential once you get good enough at the game for platinum through, you know, masters level. And right now he's meta, so even a grand masters, which we'll talk about, you know, in the next section of the next portion of this video. And really quick, I want to make a fast mention of Reaper. He's still insanely good at these ranks. If you just get better at him and you just, you know, master him more and more, you can absolutely climb platinum through masters with Reaper. He's in a pretty good spot right now, and he's still in that same position where he can just farm people, get value, have solo carry potential if you can take him up to that level of platinum through masters. All right, so Sojourn, she's completely overpowered, broken in Season 1 when I made this video. And now that you are in, you know, platinum through masters, I would expect you to be able to hit consistently enough with her to be able to get value. So the reason I wouldn't recommend her to higher ranks is you need to be able to aim at least somewhat to be able to charge up her railgun and then fire the railgun and try to get headshots with it as much as possible. So if you get the railgun, I think it was over 80%. So you see that number that charges on the screen. If you get that to, I don't remember because I'm not a Sojourn player, it's 75 or 80, I think. Then she does at least 200 damage with a headshot, which will one-tap people, which is what makes her OP. But other than that, she also has her ult, which lets her just fire the railgun over and over again. And she's just insanely strong. She's so overpowered. So if you're able to step up your game and get good enough with her to hit shots and get used to using her abilities and use them correctly, and she has a lot of mobility. If you get used to it and you just do it all correctly, she'll absolutely be able to carry you from platinum all the way into even grand masters if you just get good enough at her. The next character in this range is Soldier 76. Now at this point, you can aim good enough at him. Aim good enough, hopefully, to be able to get value with him, platinum through diamond. And if you can aim good enough with him, he no longer has bloom. So if you can just control the kickback, you can hit as many headshots as you want. Also, he has visor, which if you use it correctly at the right place, it's aimbot basically for a few seconds. He has some self-heal. He has the Helix rockets where you can tap some people, shoot Helix at him and just kill them. And then also he can sprint wherever he wants. I mean, he's just got a lot of versatility, and if you're able to master him well enough, he can absolutely hard carry games at platinum through even grandmasters to some degree. All right, so Sombra, now that you are in plat through masters and you can hopefully aim decent, she's insanely good. She's like S tier right now at the high ranks. And what's the reasons for this? You know, you hack, you do bonus damage. She does a crazy amount of damage, especially when hacked. Her EMP, wow, I didn't realize I was going to spin the camera. Her EMP does baseline amount of damage and hacks them all and makes them all take more damage and stuff. She can teleport, translocate. I mean, I'm not going to go through her whole kit, but she can get a lot of value because she can go invisible. She can just appear and still harass people. And at platinum through masters, you have to remember that at this rank, the other players are still not extremely good at the game. So they're not going to be quite reactive enough to be able to deal with you if you just appear in the backline and just assassinate a Zenyatta or something, and there's like a constant nuisance. So if you master Sombra and you get really good at her, you'll easily be able to hard carry through these ranks just because the enemy team won't really know how to deal with you. And then we have Tracer, who, again, you get to this point, you're able to aim now, you're getting better with abilities, you're actually mastering heroes. She's pretty good. She can, you know, just be a nuisance, be wherever she wants, recall, and do everything right. Tracer just has a lot of potential. She has a lot of skill cap potential, so the more you master her, the higher you can go. So she's just another good hero to have in your arsenal, or a good option to play in this range of Platinum through Master. She can definitely hard carry if you get really good at her. And then the last DPS I want to talk about for this mid-range is going to be Widowmaker. And it's because hopefully now you can aim good enough once you get to these ranks to be able to get value with her as a DPS. And also get good enough at positioning and mobility and your abilities and stuff to be able to know where to be, know where to stand, be able to hit the shots, and just get a lot of value with her. There's certain maps she'll be really good at. She's a little bit more map dependent, but she has the potential to hard carry games at the Platinum through low Masters ranks. Alright, so Ana, she is suddenly really, really viable starting in Platinum and stuff once you get good enough with your abilities and get used to doing things. The anti-nade's insanely overpowered. Sleep dart's insanely good if you can actually hit it, which now at your Platinum and above, I expect you to be able to hit it more frequently enough for it to make sense. Her healing is actually a decent amount, and her nade not only heals, but not only anti-nades, but also heals. So she just has a lot of potential. She also has Nano Boost, which combos with lots of other characters. She just has a lot of versatility, and also the fact that if she's scoped in, she's a hit scan heal from any distance, and just can get that value where it's like you can just hang back here, and you can heal your team who's down there, and just at these lower ranks, people are not going to be as good at flanking around and getting to you, so it's much easier to set up shop as Ana and just hard carry by keeping our people alive, hitting fat anti-nades, nanoing people. Like, now that your skill level is high enough to be Platinum through Masters, you can hard carry through these ranks if you master Ana. I want to talk about Bap for a second. So he can hard carry you through these ranks, but with Bap, you actually need to get, like, really good with him to get that value. But if you do, then you can, because he actually does a crazy amount of damage if you hit headshots, and he can heal while shooting. So heal and then shoot, and heal and then shoot like that. AoE heals, and the immortality field is insanely good, but it takes a lot of skill and knowledge to be able to use it at just the right time in just the right places. Same thing for Window. Like, he's gonna take a lot of skill to really master and get value out of, but if you do it, he will then be able to hard carry. You'll be able to hard carry with him from, you know, Platinum through Masters. Brig's a pretty good option for here through these ranks if you're a support player, because if you get good enough at her, you know all your ins and outs of positioning and stuff. She can actually get in there and get the kills, but also support people and just do a really good job. So if you master Brig, then yeah, Platinum through Masters will be easy. You not really hard carry as a support, but you can get a crap ton of value and win a lot of games and move up pretty easily with her. Lucio's still good at these ranks. You just got to step up your game at this point. It's not about getting that baseline value anymore. With Lucio, you actually have to take it to the next level. You've got to wall ride and just dive in and kill people and stuff, and then get out and heal people and boot people off the map and actually be good at them. But if you get to that level with him, then Lucio can really hard carry games. I mean, it's actually nuts what a Lucio can pull off in a Platinum through Masters type lobby. And then there's Moira, who Moira just is easy to get value with at any rank. So if you want to go all the way with Moira, just you get better and better with her, and you can just climb and climb and climb. It's just she can work at almost any rank. At least right now, Season 1 in 5v5 Overwatch 2. But yeah, she's just easy to get value with. You just get better at her, you'll be able to win more games. Like, I know I can hard carry games all the way up to Masters really easily with her. Like, she can actually just hard carry if you play her well. So she's definitely a viable option. Really good option in Platinum through Masters lobbies. And now there's Zenyatta. You know, you're getting to these ranks, you can hit shots now, and Zenyatta is insanely good. If he has Discord on people, he does a ton of damage. Using Transcendence at just the right time can win an entire fight. He can assassinate people with his secondary fire. Zenyatta is a very powerful character. He's like A tier at least, if not S tier. But it's like, you got to have that baseline value of you actually hit things. You know how to position so you don't just get, Zenyatta can get hardcore punished if you don't know how to position with him, if you don't know what you're doing. But if you're at that Platinum through Masters level and you're expecting yourself to step up, if you wanted to master Zen, you could definitely hard carry games of Zen through there, through those ranks. And now that leaves us with what if the day finally comes? What if the day finally comes where you've gotten better, it's been months of playing, you've mastered multiple heroes, you've gotten so good at them, you are now high masters through grandmasters, and you want to know what are the best things for this scenario. Well, at least in Season 1, I can give you what it is right now and why, and some of these will kind of withstand the test of time. Others will get nerfed at certain points or buffed. So, some of it will change, but there's a few that will probably be baseline good forever. So, D.Va, she's always going to depend on the patch. If they nerf her too much, she's just gone. If she's buffed enough, then she's really good. Right now, at the higher ranks, D.Va's really good. If you get to that super mastery level with her, then you can be a really good tank with her, get tons of value, and win lots of games. Sigma's also pretty cracked at Grandmasters, at least right now. If they nerf him a ton, maybe it won't be as good, but even if they nerf him, Sigma's always in kind of a good spot because he just has so much damage if you can land your shots. He's a very high skill cap hero, and if you can get that skill down with him, then you can easily get top 500 with Sigma. And one of the other strongest tanks at Grandmasters, right when I made this video at least, would be Zarya. She's really good right now. It's easier for her to get high charge. She does a ton of damage. If your tracking is good, then that just means obscene amounts of damage. Also, if your aim with the secondary fire is good, you can also just annihilate people in your high charge, and good grabs win games. So if you hit that max mastery level with Zarya, then you can expect yourself to have a good chance of hitting top 500 with her. And I do want to point out, when you are at Grandmasters, having the ability to pick lots of different heroes like Orisa and Rein and Wrecking Ball as well are not bad to have in your arsenal, because there's always a map and a time and a place or a team comp that your rest of your team's running that you can fit in. But the three that I pointed out are like the strongest right now to just hard carry in Grandmasters. They're kind of like meta right now. All right, so let's move to DPS. We got Cassidy. Now, if you're at the Grandmasters level and you're expecting your aim to go above and beyond and just hit that level where you're just insane, Cassidy suddenly becomes a hard carry potential. Lots of good players are playing Cassidy right now. It's not that he's the most meta pick, but if you get really good with him and you can just hit double headshots on people, you can just hard carry games with Cassidy. He has that potential. All right, at Grandmasters, Genji is completely insane right now. He's S tier meta because the skill cap you can hit with Genji is so unbelievably high, and he's really strong right now. So at least Season 1 when I made this video, he's just cracked, and you can totally get to top 500, top 100, whatever with him. Just keep working on him, keep getting better, and you can definitely climb from Masters to even higher and beyond with Genji right now. And then there's Reaper, who he's just always good at all ranks. He's just always a good option if you ever want to master him. Even when he wasn't meta back in Overwatch 1, there were still people who just one-trick Reaper to like 4600 SR, like ranked like top 10 and stuff, because no matter what the meta is, if you get good at Reaper, you can just farm the hell out of people at any rank. So he's always a viable option if you just get good at him. Right now, Season 1, Sojourn's S tier. If you're in Grandmasters, Masters, and above, just get really good at Sojourn, and if you get good enough at her, you'll just hit top 100 or whatever, because she's just totally cracked right now. She's so overpowered. It's completely insane. Like, if you can actually just hit headshots with the railgun, then she's just going to single-handedly win games. Not even a problem. Soldier 76, pretty good, mainly because they removed the bloom. So if you're like an actual, pro at tracking people and not missing shots, he can actually be totally insane even at high ranks. He's not like the most meta pick right now, but if you got really good at him, it would not be a mistake right now. And maybe they'll nerf him at some point, but with how he is right now, it's like you get good enough with him, I don't see a world where you can't carry a game. All right, so then we have Sombra. Again, when I made this video Season 1, she is S tier at Grandmasters level. So once you get to Masters, if you just keep going harder and harder with Sombra and getting better and better at her, you can get to a point where you are effectively solo carry games all the way up to like top 500. So if she like your end goal characters, she's definitely one of them right now. They'll probably actually nerf her at some point. Tracer's also one at the Grandmasters level that can really hard carry. She's a little more map dependent, team dependent than she used to be, but I mean, I've seen her in Overwatch League and everything, so it's just one of those characters. If you just love Tracer and you want to just become one of the best Tracers in the world, no reason you couldn't get top 500 with Tracer right now. She's definitely a viable pick for Masters and above climbing. And then to cap off the DPS, there is Widowmaker, and she's a little map dependent, but on those maps, if you're good with her, you can hard carry games, and If you get good enough at it, you can still hard carry. There's people like Kepri out there and other Widow one-tricks effectively, and they can do whatever they want, get top 500 and whatever, just playing Widow. So if you just want to get really good at hitting those snipe shots and one-shotting people, then you could definitely play Widow and get good enough at it. You'll totally hard carry in the long run. And I guess I should mention Ashe real fast. I feel like you could definitely take her to top 500 level right now. I'm not sure why I feel like she's not as good, but maybe she's not. I mean, you could just play her. I think she's a viable option for climbing from Masters and above. I just don't feel certain about it, but I think she's worth a mention. That it's totally like a reasonable pick to play Ashe. All right, so let's look at support. So again, you've hit Masters now. You think you want to go all the way to top 500? Ana is always your #1 pick to try to master if you're going to master one random support hero, because Ana always is coming into the meta. I mean, there's times where she's not meta, but she's been meta like freaking 75% of the time that she's existed in Overwatch. She's just insanely overpowered at a high level. Her skill cap potential is insane. At high level, she can kill people herself because of her, hit scan shots that do 70 damage. I mean, she's just pretty insane, guys. So if you're gonna just waste your time only like playing one hero and getting really good at them, go for Ana. She's always a great option. She can definitely take you up to top 500, no problem. Bap's not really meta right now, but I do want to mention him because he's extremely high skill cap. So if you were gonna master a character, he'll probably be back in the meta at some point. Chances are he's always in and out of the meta just because he's so high skill cap at the high level. But it's not a terrible option. He's not super meta right now, though, so just be aware of that. All right, so your Grandmasters, and now we have the expectation that you hit like at least 50% accuracy on all your shots. Well, Kiriko's completely busted then. So if you're actually good and you can land tons of shots and stuff and hit tons of headshots and be consistent, then Kiriko's S tier overpowered broken at higher level because she just does such an obscene amount of damage while still also healing, while also having invulnerability and cleanse, and then also her all gives speed boost, not double damage, but double attack speed, halved reload. I mean, double 50% move speed. Like, she's insanely overpowered, but I saved her until the Masters Plus because, man, if you can't hit your shots as her, she's suddenly not OP at all. Like, she's just okay. So, like, in the bronze through platinum ranges especially, unless you actually go above and beyond with her, like, and getting good at her and getting good at aiming, she's not going to be able to hard carry as a baseline value. But once you get to this level, Masters through top 100, top 500, whatever, keep pushing yourself to the edge, getting further and further along, getting better and better. She's an insane potential option. Mastering her is not a bad idea right now. Lucio's insane high levels. Turn into a Reddit, Lucio assassinates people, get insanely good with everything he has to offer, and he has hard carry potential. Lucio's always in and out of the meta at the high level, but if you get good at him, you'll definitely be able to play him. There'll be times where he's super meta, there's times where he's less meta, but if you're good enough with him, you'll just freaking win anyway. There were always people who were top 100 Lucio one tricks that they've always been around. So he has that skill cap potential, so definitely a good option for climbing from Masters to, all the way to rank 1 or whatever, basically. I want to mention Moira real fast because at the high level, people might not think she's very good, but I do just want to mention a story about there was someone who someone who was really good, and they started playing Moira, and they made an account where they Moira one-tricked, and they were just like top 10 or top 20 all the time, basically. She could, if you want to get to that level with her, there's absolutely that high-end level with her, but it's just like a totally different game of Grandmasters in order to get everything from her. But she's definitely an option, but she's definitely a weird option that's not always meta, but, she exists. It's not the end of the world if you get insane with her. And then we have Zenyatta, who right now is super meta. He's insanely good. And if you get insanely good at Zen, he has extremely high skill cap, so he can hard carry your games in a Masters through top 500 level. So if you want to be at that level, definitely you would want to have him in your arsenal of heroes that you're super Grandmasters amazing with. He's always a good option to learn. He's always in and out of the meta. So if you learn, there may be times where he's not meta, and there will always be times where he's back in the meta. It's been like that since launch of Overwatch 1. And there you have it. That's my thoughts on best heroes to climb for different ranks. This is based on my experience playing this game for like however many years. It's been out 6 years or whatever, now Overwatch 2. And I was one of the people where I didn't just play my Grandmasters top 500 games. I actually made Smurf accounts, and I played with friends, and I would, go on a Smurf account and play something I'm not good at, like tank or something, and just get a feel for what all the different ranks feel like. I've played on console. I've played at various ranks on console with a friend, through gold through diamond, gold through masters on console. Like I've seen it all, guys. I've dove into every rank and every, idea in this game and just really been part of it all. So, yeah, that's my opinion. Hopefully that gives you a good starting point. And as a final thought here, I just want you guys to know, especially if you're watching this as someone who's in a lower rank, I can tell you right now with certainty that if you, as an individual, get good enough with any single hero, it doesn't matter if it was one I had on the list for whatever rank. If you get good enough with a hero, you can get all the way to Grandmaster. So it's always important to focus on you and your play, what you can do to get better, stuff like that. That's always number one. That's always the keystone of getting better at Overwatch. But the heroes that I pointed out for each ranks will make it so you don't have to put in as much work for each of those ranks. You spend less time, put in less effort getting good, and to be able to get more value with the less time that you spend. So if you feel like your time is valuable, then, you could try to learn one of the heroes I pointed out for whichever rank. But if you just really love a hero, like Mercy, for example, you can absolutely solo queue Mercy, for example, from bronze all the way to top 500 without ever duo queuing ever. You can do that with any hero. I've done that with Mercy, for example. I literally did like an unranked to like top 500 stream challenge before. You can just do it. You can do it with any character, Sim, Torb, anything. There's always the one tricks in top 500 for any like character, Torb, Sim, Winston, whoever. Winston's not that bad right now though, but so don't take this as that you can't play certain things. But again, those are the characters that'll make you have to put in the least amount of effort to get the most amount of value on average. And hopefully that helps you out. And hopefully now you have an easier time climbing the ranks in Overwatch 2.